Magandang tanghali, Pilipinas. Binisita po ng ating Presidente Rodrigo Roa Duterte kasama ang inyong abang lingkod at iba pang miyembro ng kanyang gabinete ang Surigao del Sur kahapon. Ito po yung dahilan kaya hindi po tayo nakapag-press briefing kahapon. Ito ay para personal na makita ang sitwasyon ng probinsya at kalagayan ng ating mga kababayang naapektuhan ng bagyong Auring. Ito ang ilan sa mga tulong na naipabot ng ating pamahalaan. Ayon kay DSWD Secretary Rolando Bautista, may nakahanda ng 8,000 family food packs sa Surigao del Sur at inaasahang merong karagdagang 7,000 food packs na darating ngayong araw. Mahigit 22 million pesos worth ang halaga ng na-allocate bilang standby fund at stockpile. Ayon naman po kay DTI Secretary Ramon Lopez, magbibigay sila ng pautang or livelihood support funds para sa 1,000 maliliit na negosyo na naapektuhan ng bagyo. Nagbigay din po ang Department of Agriculture, personal na binigay ni Secretary Dar ang 230 million na tulong sa mga naapektuhang magsasaka. Samantala, ang ating DOLE Secretary Silvestre Bello III ay nagbigay sila ng 30 motorized fiberglass galvanized banks para sa bawat munisipyo ng Surigao del Sur. Nagbigay rin po ang DOLE sa bawat mayor ng 250 workers under the TUPAD program. Ito po yung emergency employment sa loob ng 10 araw. Yan po ay 250 per municipality. Nag-commit naman po ang DOTR na mag-install ng runway lights sa Tandag Airport at mag-extend ang runway nito. Samantalang, ang DPWH naman po ay nakipag-ugnayan na sa lokal na pamahalaan ng Surigao del Sur para sa kinakailangang gamit para sa konstruksyon ng mga barangay roads. Kasama po natin kahapon nga pala yung napakasipag po na ASEC po ng DPWH. Magandang balita po, inaprubahan po kahapon ng Kongreso ng mababang kapulungan at ng Senado ang panukalang batas tungkol sa indemnity fund na magpapabilis sa ating vaccine rollout. Tapos na po yung proseso. Tumawag po sa akin kahapon si Majority Floor Leader Martin Romualdez para sabihin na naaprubahan na nga po ng Senado yung bersyon ng Senado at sumang-ayon na ang mababang kapulungan doon sa bersyon ng Senado na hindi na po kinakailangan pang magkaroon ng bicameral committee report. So tapos na po yan. Pag yan po'y nakarating sa Malacanang, sigurado naman po pipirmahan yan ng ating Presidente. Nagpapasalamat po tayo sa liderato ng Kongreso at ng Senado dahil sa kanilang mabilis na pagtugon sa hamon ng panahon. Record time po ata na ipasa ito. Maraming salamat sa inyong lahat. Inaasahan natin na ito nga po ay masusumite sa Office of the President para maisabatas na po sa lalong mabilis na panahon. Usaping bakuna muna tayo, binigyan ng Emergency Use Authorization or EUA nga po noong Lunes ang Sinovac ng ating Food and Drug Administration. Ito po ay binalita personal ng ating Director General Domingo sa ating Presidente noong kami po ay nagkaroon ng cabinet meeting noong Lunes. Inaasahan natin na bago matapos ang buwan na ito, sa linggo ay narito na ang Sinovac dahil ang pangako po ng gobyerno ng China 3 to 5 days matapos mabigyan ng EUA ay makakarating na ang bakuna rito. At inaasahan po natin, kinabukasan, tuloy na po ang pagbabakuna natin. Gaya ng ating pinangako, hindi po magtatagal, simula na po ang ating pagbabakuna. May mga nagtatanong, ligtas ba ho ang Sinovac? Bakit kasi hindi daw recommended sa frontline healthcare workers? Well, ganito po yun. Sa ginawang phase 3 ng clinical trial sa Brazil, bakit ba ho sa Brazil ginawa ang clinical trial? Kasi nga po, wala nang COVID sa China. Konti na lang ang COVID. So nagpunta sila doon sa maraming COVID na Brazil. Nasa top 5 po kasi yung Brazil. Doon po sa Brazil, doon lang gumawa ng clinical trial ang Sinovac para sa mga healthcare workers na talagang gumagamot po ng mga merong sakit na COVID-19. So, dito po sa hanay ng mga healthcare workers na exposed talaga sa mga pasyenteng may coronavirus, dun po lumabas na 51% ang efficacy rate ng Sinovac. Pero Sinovac lang po, sa aking pagkakaalam, ang tanging bakuna na gumawa ng ganitong clinical trials exclusively sa mga healthcare workers. Sinovac is the first and currently the only vaccine where the participants in the clinical trials were healthcare workers. Ito ang nagpapaliwanag kung bakit mas mababa ang efficacy results ng Sinovac kumpara sa ibang bakuna dahil kasama sa clinical trial ay ang mga health workers ng Brazil na na-expose sa mga pasyenteng may COVID-19. Pero nung nag-clinical trial po naman sila doon sa mga ordinaryong mga mamamayan na hindi naman po exposed sa COVID patients, gaya ng ginawa sa Turkey at saka sa Indonesia, pumapalo naman po hanggang 91% ang efficacy ng bakuna. Kaya wala po tayo dapat ipangamba, no? Kumbaga sa isang labanan, at ito naman po ay giyera. Ang ating mga frontline soldiers ay mayroong 51% chance na magalusan pero hindi na sila kinakailangan pumunta sa doktor at sa ospital at hindi rin sila mamamatay. At sa mga non-combatants, lalong mas maliit ang chance nila na masaktan at zero possibility na sila ay mamamatay. Na-test na rin po ang Sinovac sa UK at South African variants at lumalabas na epektibo po ito laban dito sa mga bagong variants. Tulad ng ating unang nai-report, mga edad 18 to 25 na clinically healthy na economic frontliners ang kasama sa prioridad, kasama na rin po ang mga miyembro ng ating hukbong sandatahan na binigyan po ng 100,000 doses ng gobyerno ng China. Kaya nga, kung papayagan tayo ng National Task Force at Department of Health, ay kasama tayo sa mauuna magpabakbakuna, no? Para magbigay kumpiyansa sa ating mga kababayan para mawala ang kanilang agam-agam. Kung gusto po ni Vice President, she's welcome to join also. At kung inyong matatandaan sa kanyang mga naging pahayag sa media, ay magboboluntaryo naman po siya, no? Bilang isang Vice President. At tinanong po ang inyong lingkod ng mga miyembro ng MPC kung kasama sila sa unang mababakunahan sa age prioritization, ay pasok naman po si VP Lenny. Di pa naman po siya senior. Hindi lang Pilipinas ang unang gagamit po ng Sinovac, ha? 1 milyong doses ng Sinovac vaccine ang dumating na sa Hong Kong noong February 19. Ito ang first vaccines available sa Hong Kong at nagpabakuna na po ang leader ng Hong Kong na si Chief Executive Carrie Lam, kasamang iba pang senior officials ng Hong Kong. Samantalang ang unang shipment ng Sinovac ay dumating na rin po sa Mexico noong February 20. At noong February 21 naman po ay dumating sa bansang Colombia ang Sinovac. Mismo ang president ng Colombia na si Ivan Duque, wala po siyang relasyon kay Secretary Duque, ang tumanggap ng Sinovac vaccine. At alam naman natin na nagpaturok na rin po ng Sinovac ang leader na Indonesia na si President Joko Widodo at noong nakarang linggo, ang kanilang Vice Presidente si Mr. Maruf Amin ay nagpabakuna na rin ng Sinovac. Ang mga halimbawang ito ay nagpapakita na halos magkakasunod lang ang dating ng bakuna, kaya sa mga kritikong nagsasabing kulelat ay research pa more imbis na magpakalat ng fake news. COVID update naman po tayo. Ito ang world rankings po ng by country ayon sa World Health Organization at John Hopkins as of February 24, 2021. Number 31 pa rin po ang Pilipinas with 564,865 cases. Sa active cases, number 43 pa rin po tayo with 29,817. Sa COVID-19 cases per 1 million population, 514.19, number 135 po tayo. At sa case fatality rate, 2.1%, number 67 po ang Pilipinas. Ito po ay bumaba from number 60, number 67 na tayo. Sa mga aktibong kaso ay meron po tayong 29,817 mga aktibong kaso. Sang-ayon po sa February 23, 2021 datos ng DOH, sa mga aktibong mga kaso, 94.1% ay mild at asymptomatic. Nasa 2.6% ang critical at 2.5% ang severe. Higit kalahating milyon or 522,941 ang kabuuan bilang ng mga gumaling or 92.6% recovery rate. Samantalang malungkot naming binabalita na tumataas po ang bilang ng mga binawian ng buhay dahil sa coronavirus. Ito po ay 12,107 na. Nakikiramay po kami, ito po ay 2.14% fatality rate. Sa ibang mga bagay, kinukumpirma po natin na napirmahan na noong Lunes, February 22, ang appointment paper ni dating PNP Chief Camilo Cascolan, kababayan ko po yan, bilang Undersecretary sa Office of the President. Welcome aboard, Yusek Cascolan. Sa iba pang mga bagay, galing po ang inyong spokes sa Mariveles, Bataan ngayong umaga lang po, no? Para sa turnover ng 3 units ng DPWH Standard Health Facilities Container Van na gagamitin pong TTMFs. No? Maraming salamat po and congratulations kay Mayor Joe Castañeda ng Mariveles, ang kanyang Vice Mayor, si Lito Rubia, at siyempre ang aking tukayo, si Councilor Harry Golokan. So maraming salamat po at I will see you again on March 8 para naman po sa official blessing nitong TTMF facility ng Mariveles, Bulacan. At panghuli, pinagdadasal po natin ang mabilis na recovery ng ating dating kasamahan dito po sa MPC. Dati ko na pong kasama ito kahit nung mga panahon na aktivista pa ako, si ABS-CBN reporter na si Doris Bigornia. Doris, pagaling ka. And we're praying for your speedy recovery. Dito po nagtatapos ang ating presentasyon. Makakasama po natin the Lady of the Hour. Walang iba kundi si Sinovac Biotech General Manager, Miss Helen Yang, live from Hong Kong. Miss Yang, welcome to our presidential press briefing.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Let me ask the first few questions, Miss Yang. When is Sinovac arriving? Because we need to schedule the arrival because the president has said that he wants to meet the initial, he wants to be there when the initial shipment of Sinovac is delivered to the Philippines. When is Sinovac arriving in the Philippines?
Right. Actually, we're working very hard with our Philippines counterpart to prepare for the delivery. The product is already been prepared. So we just need to finalizing the procedures with the custom, and then we can fix the date of the flight.
I was told by the Chinese embassy that it will take 3 to 5 days from the date of issuance. Does this still hold? The EUA was issued last Monday, so the 3 to 5 days still holds?
We will try our best to see whether we can deliver the products in this week or next week. It will be very soon.
Well, I tried to explain, Ms. Helen Yang, earlier what happened in Brazil, no? That the 51% was the efficacy rate exclusively for clinical trials conducted amongst health workers directly working with patients suffering from COVID-19. But what is the efficacy rate of Sinovac when it was used in clinical trials involving ordinary healthy human beings? Perhaps you can explain both the clinical trials involving health workers and the other clinical trials. The floor is yours, Ms. Yang.
Sure, thank you. As you said, we were conducting the trial with our local partners in Brazil, and all the volunteers are healthcare workers working directly dealing with the COVID-19 patients. And the trial gave a different level of efficacy. And the results shows that the vaccine can protect the fatal cases and hospitalized cases 100%. And for those even with mild symptoms, but who needs to require the medical assistance, the efficacy rate is around 80%. And if we include all the mild symptoms, even without any requirements for medical assistance, then the efficacy rate is it's above 50%, which is the standards from WHO. Therefore, that we concluded the vaccine is effective even in this very challenging environment. All the trials conducted in hospital among healthcare workers. And of course, we are conducting the trial in other countries, for example, in Turkey. We also conduct a similar size of trial among the mainly among the ordinary population. And in Turkey, there was another big trial with 13,000 volunteers, and there are two phases. The first phase is a few hundred healthcare workers, and then it moved quickly to the second phase, which is a lot larger size on the ordinary population. And the principal investigator in Turkey has already announced the interim results when the cases collected reached to 29 a few weeks ago. And the efficacy rate is 91.25%. And therefore that we are expecting to see when the Turkish trial is concluded, when they reach the final number of the cases, then how the efficacy rate would be. But overall, I think no matter from healthcare workers or from the ordinary population, the inactivated vaccine has already been proved very safe. Because not only the trial, we also have provided the vaccine in China and outside of China. There has already been over 10 million or even 20 million people has already used the vaccine. And the safety profile has been showing very well. And also we are expecting that the people working in healthcare facilities who can be protected. And because those are the people, we need them for the society to treat the patients in order to maintain a regular norm of our whole society.
So let me just verify, no? The 51% was a clinical study involving healthcare workers dealing directly with COVID-19 patients. Yung 51% ay isang clinical study lang po na pinag-aralan doon sa mga healthcare workers na gumagamot ng COVID-19 patients. Is this correct, Ms. Helen Yang? I translated for the benefit of all the Filipino people.
Understood. Yes, that's correct.
But when there was clinical trials in Turkey involving ordinary healthy individuals, the efficacy rate was 91%. Nung nagkaroon naman po ng clinical trials sa Turkey na ang pinag-aralan naman po ay yung mga healthy na mga adults, 91% naman po ang efficacy rate. Is that correct, Ms. Yang?
Yes, correct.
Okay. I'm sure our colleagues from the Malacanang Press Corps will have many questions for you. I hope you join us for our open forum. Let's proceed now to our open forum. Yusek Roque, go ahead, please.
Yes, good afternoon, Secretary Roque and to Ms. Yang. From Lanesca Panti of GMA News Online, Dr. Abenya Singh of WHO said that the vaccine makers' requirement for indemnification agreement is common to all countries and not related to Demvaxia. How do you reconcile this with your previous statement that vaccine makers are demanding indemnification agreement due to Demvaxia experience when the WHO said otherwise?
We welcome the remarks of the WHO, and of course, we hold the WHO declaration as the most authoritative declaration on this matter, and we leave it at that. So be it. Now, having said that, no, I will confirm that Pfizer really required a particular form of indemnity agreement, and in fact, the law itself, no. So that was confirmed to me last night by Deputy Implementer Secretary Vince Dizon, no, when we had a press briefing conference.
Second question of Ms. Panti, is patronizing smuggled products now a part of the government's policy, given that a special envoy to China, Montulfo, admitted he got a smuggled Sinopharm COVID-19 vaccine alongside cabinet officials and also said President Duterte is aware of it?
Ay, hindi ko po alam kung ano yung tinatanong ni Panti. Wala pong ganyang pulisiya. Dahil kung may ganyan pong pulisiya, siguro commercial quantity na ang kumalat ng mga bakuna na hindi na-aproban. Pero inaantay po talaga natin ang aksyon ng FDA sa mga bagay-bagay neto.
Opo. Third question, is the palace daw po supporting the suggestion of Labor Secretary Abello and DFA Secretary Locsin that the Philippines send health workers to Europe in exchange of 600,000 doses of COVID-19 vaccines? How do you reconcile this speech with your previous statement that we have ordered enough COVID-19 vaccine doses for our entire adult population?
Wala pong inconsistency sa mga nasabi ko na at sinabi ni Secretary Bello at Secretary Locsin, no? Nag-order po tayo. Sapat, sobra-sobra pa nga po. Mga 90 million nga pong in-order natin. Sinobrahan na natin. Pero siyempre, kung mas marami pang supply ang makukuha natin, bakit hindi?
Opo. Ang fourth question po niya, when is the President going to sign the vaccine indemnity bill into law?
Pag dumating na po sa Malacanang, dahil tinawagan ako kahapon ni Majority Floor Leader Romualdez, siguro po nagsimula na yung aking comms meeting, mga 9:45 po, no? Kagabi. So kakatapos lang daw po ng Senado. So hayaan naman nating matulog muna yung mga senador at hayaan nating ma-print at maipadala dito po sa palasyo.
Thank you, Secretary.
Maraming salamat. Mela Lesmores, please.
Hi, good afternoon, Secretary Roque. Follow up muna po dun sa nabanggit nyo kanina na gustong saksihan ni Pangulong Duterte nga yung pagdating ng mga bakuna mula sa Sinovac sa bansa. Para lang po din alam ng ating mga kababayan, magkakaroon po ba ng ceremony dito? At nasabi nyo po nung nakaraan na magpapaalam kayo kay Pangulong Duterte kung pwede kayong mauna. Just give us a picture, Secretary Roque. Ano po ba yung mangyayari pagdating dito ng Sinovac vaccines? And sino-sino po kaya yung mga miyembro ng gabinete na kabilang sa mga nag-volunteer para mauna?
Well, unang-una po, talagang sinabi ni Presidente na nais niyang salubungin yung pagdating ng Sinovac. Alam mo, Pilipino tayo. Tumatanaw tayo ng utang na loob. Sa ating panahon ng pangangailangan, talaga naman yung kaibigan nating China ang nagpadala ng unang bakuna sa atin. So hindi mo matatanggal sa Pilipino na tumanaw ng utang na loob, no? Barring any glitches, nais pong sumalubungan ni Presidente, no? At magkakaroon siguro ng konting seremonya dahil ito po ay donated ng People's Republic of China. At ang sinabi nga po niya, nung nagmi-meeting kami, yung ilang mga miyembro ng gabinete tungkol sa mga IETF matters, kung po pwede, sumama kami doon. Siyempre po, ako naman po ay sasama, no? At kung sino pa po yung mga nag-volunteer, halos lahat naman po kami handang mag-volunteer dahil alam nga namin na importante yung palawakin pa yung kumpiyansa ng ating taong bayan at talaga naman pong kinikilala namin na kung kaming mga leaders ay magpapauna na magpabakuna ng Sinovac ay tataas po ang kumpiyansa ng taong bayan. So alam ko po ako, si Vaccine Czar Galvez, si Secretary Duque, si Secretary Lorenzana, yan po yung mga nagpupulong sa kay Presidente tungkol sa mga COVID-related matters, lahat po kami ay handang magpaturok na.
Opo. May second question, Secretary Roque, kasi nung mga nakaraan, nung expected po natin ay Pfizer vaccines ang darating, abala na sa paghahanda sa mga ospital. Sa ngayon po ba, inaasahan, let's say, sa uniform personnel po kasi ito mauuna, so sa Camp Aguinaldo po ba or sa Camp... saan po kaya unang ididiretso yung mga bakuna mula sa Sinovac?
Well, didiretso pa rin po yan sa storage facility ng gobyerno, no, ng DOH. Pwede po yung RITM, no, dahil 600,000 lang naman po yung unang darating. At saka ordinary refrigeration lang ang kinakailangan. No. Handang-handa na po ang hukbong sa datahan para gamitin yung 100,000 na na-donate sa kanila at handang-handa na po yung mga mayors ng Metro Manila na ibigay itong bakunang ito sa mga 19 to 59 no, na healthy individuals. So pagdating po sa kahandaan, wala pong issue dyan. At itong nakalipas na araw lang po, talagang inisa-isa natin ang mga mayor ng Metro Manila. Handang-handa po sila at excited na silang ibigay ang bakuna sa kanilang mga constituents.
Opo. Sir, before I go to my last question kay Ms. Helen Yang, may I ask kung may public address po mamaya?
Meron pong public address mamaya po.
Okay, can I go to Ms. Helen Yang,
Please
sir,
go ahead.
for my last question?
Go ahead, please.
Okay. Hi, Ms. Helen Yang. I just want to ask, so far, how many countries have been using CoronaVac? Can you please name these nations? And based on your data, what are the common side effects being experienced by those people who got inoculated with your vaccines, ma'am?
Sure. Thanks for your question. I think up till now, there has already been 11 countries, including Thailand today, there will be 12 countries and regions receiving our vaccines, including Brazil, Turkey, Chile, Indonesia, Thailand, Hong Kong, Mexico, Colombia, and there are several Latin American countries and Asia countries as well. And this number will go up to 15 by the end of this week. So the common side effects and similar for the vaccines being used in the country for rollout the campaign as well as the trial, that there are muscle pain that is due to the aluminum hydroxide, which is an adjuvant in the vaccine. So people will just feel muscle pain after getting the vaccination, but it can go over after a day.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Helen Yang. Just a short follow-up question. No one died yet, right, from taking Sinovac vaccines?
No, there hasn't been any fatal effect of relating to use of the vaccine.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Helen Yang and Secretary Roque.
Thank you, Mela. Thank you, Ms. Yang. Let's go again to you, Roque, please.
Yes, question from Chris Jose of Remate Online. Kinuwestiyon ng isang senador ang pahayag ng FDA na hindi rekomendado sa health workers ang maturukan ng Sinovac vaccine dahil sa efficacy rate nito. Itinuturing ang pahayag ng bilang problematic, half-hearted at half-baked endorsement. Hindi raw mapapataas ng FDA ang kumpiyansa ng publiko sa Sinovac base sa binigay na rekomendasyon.
Siguro po dapat si Dr. Domingo sumagot dyan, no? Pero uulitin ko po, yung 51%, yun lamang yung mga health workers na talagang nagagamot ng COVID-19. Pero doon naman po sa 50% na yon, 78% yung kalahating pwede magkasakit, hindi na kinakailangan pumunta sa doktor nung sila po ay nagkasakit, mild at asymptomatic, at wala pong namatay. So sa akin paningin po, bagamat ako po ay ordinaryong layman, pero ito po ay sinabi rin ni Dr. Selvania, yung ganyang efficacy rate, yan po ay hindi lang po katanggap-tanggap kung hindi excellent, no? Dahil ang iniiwasan natin yung seryosong pagkakasakit at saka yung pagkakamatay dahil sa coronavirus. Now, lilinawin ko rin po, nagbigay na rin ng explanation dito si Dr. Domingo, not recommended does not mean bawal. Kung gusto po ng health worker, hahayaan po nila. Dahil mas mabuti nga po itong ganitong proteksyon kesa wala, kesa nag-aantay pa ng hindi pa po dumarating ng mga bakuna. So yun po ang paglilinaw nila. It's only not recommended, it is not prohibited.
Okay. Question from Red Mendoza of Manila Times para po kay Secretary Roque. Ano po ang reaction nyo sa mga sinabi ni Montulfo na gusto raw ni Presidente na magpaturok ng Sinopharm pero inaayawan ng vaccine cluster?
Well, gusto po talaga niyang sa Sinopharm pero wala pa po kasing EUA. Yun po yung dahilan. Kaya umaayaw yung mga doktor na advisors na ating Presidente. Antayin na ma-approve ang EUA.
Question for Ms. Helen Yang of Sinovac from Red Mendoza of Manila Times. How can you assure our health workers that Sinovac is safe and effective despite the 50.4% efficacy in the trial for health workers in Brazil?
Well, actually, I think the data speaks. We have conducted trials in different regions, different locations, in a large scale, smaller scale, as well as the vaccine rollout in so many different countries. I think the vaccine safety has been reinsured while we are supplying the vaccines and more people are using the products. And regarding to the efficacy, I think even in this challenging study in healthcare workers only in Brazil, and the efficacy rate is still above the 50%, which is the standard of WHO. And this shows the vaccine is effective and safe. Thanks.
Thank you, Ms. Yang.
Thank you. We go to Joseph Morong, please.
Hello, good morning, Secretary Roque. Good morning, Ms. Yang. How are you doing?
Thank you.
So,
very well.
Yeah. Hi, sir. Can I go first to Ms. Yang?
Go ahead, please.
Hi, ma'am. Good morning. How are you doing? First question, I'm interested about the date of delivery because Filipinos have been waiting for the vaccine. And you mentioned that you are in coordination with our Customs Bureau. Would you like to walk us through about the process of bringing the vaccines to the Philippines? What steps are you taking?
Right. So firstly, we need to have an EUA, which we recently obtained, because without the EUA, even the vaccine is still delivered, people cannot use it. So
Right.
after we have the EUA, we are finalizing we need to pack for the delivery of the vaccine, the cold boxes, and those are ready right now. And then we need to apply for the quarantine goods testing. Those are the Chinese customs side. It's not the Philippine customs side.
Okay.
So there are some procedures we are working very closely with our customs colleagues right now. So hopefully we can deliver the vaccine in days.
How many days will it take on the Chinese side?
Normally a week actually, but we are trying to see whether we can make it shorter. But I cannot assure you because there are some procedures that needs to be done online, and there are some checkings for the goods. Those are the policies for customs.
Would you know how many would you deliver for the first batch?
Sure. We aim to deliver the 0.6 million doses for the first delivery.
That will be 600,000, yes?
Yeah, 600,000, right.
Okay. So 1 week, so probably second week of March. Do you have a target date as to when this will reach the Philippines?
You mean for these 600,000 doses?
Yeah, to reach the Philippines. So you have a target date of delivery for the Philippines.
Oh, that was I just described. I think it will be just around a week.
Okay. All right. Okay. With regard to the Brazil test, it's only in Brazil that you conducted a clinical trial that involved healthcare workers. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's the only healthcare worker focused trial in Brazil. I think the world, that's the only one we conducted.
Okay. How would you explain the lower efficacy rate of 50.4% when it comes to healthcare workers? Why is it
Right.
lower with healthcare workers?
Well, you can imagine that actually in the hospital, those people are having a more likelihood of contacting the live virus. And you know, when we do the trial, we need to identify the positive cases in order to make a calculation of these either 50 or 80 number. So when we can, when the investigator identify the cases, they need to require the volunteer to report the at least 2 symptoms, and also they need to be tested PCR positive. And you can imagine that in hospital, it is very easy for doctors and nurses to do the PCR test. And if they claim just a headache or a running nose, these could be two symptoms. So it's hard to say in that challenging environment whether this PCR test really is related to having these symptoms, but being infected by the COVID. The causal or cause and effect relationship is not clear at the moment. But I think for running the trial under that pandemic in the hospital it's already been very difficult. So we do appreciate volunteers and people who are involved in the trial to make that happen. So we can imagine that if you calculate these 253 cases identified in our trial against the volunteer population, the incident rates is 4 to 5 times of the incident rates in Brazil. That actually brings down the efficacy rate number.
Okay. Yesterday, when the FDA, the Philippine FDA, approved the EUA for Sinovac, they included an advice for the government that it is not advisable that we administer Sinovac to our healthcare workers because of that efficacy rate. Your comment, please.
Sure. I think, of course, as a manufacturer, our role is to provide a product and data for each government entity to evaluate and make the decision. And we believe that the government or FDA will evaluate it when balancing the risk and benefit profile. But what I want to say is that Sinovac's vaccine is the only one currently available in the world to conduct a trial in healthcare workers only. And the final result, even we include all the cases, even include those with very mild symptoms without any requirement for medical assistance. Those are the numbers coming. Those are the results for the 50 plus something percent. But if we are looking at if we think about why we use the vaccine, we want to use the vaccine to help the society go back to normal. We want to prevent the disease which require the medical assistance. We want to lower down the people who use the beds in the hospital. And those are the results we have clearly seen that our vaccine works very well. So I think those people working in hospital, and if I think the safety of the vaccine has been fully demonstrated that they can use at a minimum. The vaccines are safe, and then it's a matter of the efficacy level. I think no matter from the Turkish trial or from the Brazil trial, the vaccine shows it is effective. So of course, I think different countries have different measures about how they want to decide who should use the vaccine. But I think for our trial, we can clearly give the results of how the vaccine will play in the healthcare population. So it goes very well in the very severe cases. It's 100% preventive. And for the mild cases, which require medical assistance, it's above 80% prevention rate. But I think for general population, like if you got a flu, you feel not well, but you can still go on working. I think those people are still be capable of treating the patients.
Okay. All right, thank you for your time, Ms. Yang. Can I go to Secretary Roque for a very short question, sir?
Go ahead, please.
Sir, okay, I understand that Secretary has already talked to Pfizer Global, maybe Tuesday, probably Sunday, Monday. Would you know that any update on the delivery or just a negotiation item sa Pfizer? Should we just forget Pfizer and AstraZeneca now?
Ang huling nakalap ko po ay meron na lang konti pang pinababago doon sa indemnity agreement. Pero sa akin nga po, as far as the President is concerned, tuloy na po ang pagbabakuna using Sinovac. Pero alam niyo po, tapatan. Nakita niyo po, ginawa natin lahat ng pupwedeng gawin para paparating muna yung Pfizer at AstraZeneca. At tapatan, alam naman natin na maraming mas may gusto ng mga made in the West. Pero nakita niyo po talaga, nag-aagawan po ang buong daigdig sa natitirang 20% nitong mga Western vaccines kasi yung 80% nabili na po ng mga mayayamang bansa. Pero ang ayaw ni Presidente, hindi matuloy ang bakuna dahil ang gusto natin ay Western. Kaya nga po, ganun na lang ang tinatanaw niyang utang na loob sa mga Chino dahil kahit papano sa panahon ng ating pangangailangan, nag-deliver po sila o magde-deliver sila ng bakuna when we need it. Okay? Now, meron pa po akong dadagdag at matutuwa naman kayo dito dahil ito po ay karagdagang impormasyon. Si Presidente po mismo nagtataka bakit ganun nga ang naging EUA ng FDA. At pinatawag po talaga si Secretary Domingo nung huling cabinet meeting. Pinapunta po si Secretary Domingo at naiparating ni Presidente yung kanyang pagtataka kung bakit may ganitong kolatilya. No? Rinirespeto po ng Presidente ang opinyon ng mga experts. Kaya let the kolatilya remain. Pero mga tanong nga lang po, kung ang WHO mismo nagsabi 50% is the threshold at ang tanong niya, bakit kinakailangan magkolatilya kung ang WHO mismo nagsabi 50% efficacy is acceptable? Ang pangalawa pa po is, tinanong kasi ni Presidente, yung sa Indonesia ba at ibang mga bansa na gumagamit na ng Sinovac, ginamitan ba nila ang kanilang mga health workers? Nung Lunes po, ang sabi ni Dr. Domingo, hindi po niya alam. Pero since then po, nalaman namin na ginagamit din po sa mga healthcare workers ang Sinovac sa Indonesia. So anyway, just so that the Sinovac manufacturer knows about this fact and the government of China knows this fact, just to translate, the president also expressed his, let's just say the fact that he is perplexed with the special requirements of the EUA, noting that the WHO itself has laid down the minimum threshold to be 50%. And during the cabinet meeting, the president inquired if countries that are already using Sinovac are using them on healthcare workers. On that particular occasion, the answer of Director General Domingo was he does not know, but I've personally gone out of my way and I found out that countries like Indonesia have also used Sinovac on their healthcare workers.
So given that, are we using Sinovac for healthcare workers?
Well, this is nalinawan na po ito ni Director General Domingo, hindi po pinagbabawal. Hindi lang po recommended, but if the healthcare workers want, they can have it.
As a policy?
As a policy, of course, because that is also the language of the EUA. Not recommended, but if the healthcare workers want, they're welcome to it.
So first vaccination natin healthcare workers, Sinovac, sir?
Hindi ko po alam because we will find out if there are healthcare workers who want. Ako po narinig ko yung mga asosasyon ng mga nurses, they want Sinovac because the 50% protection is better than no protection. So yung mga ganyan po, if they indicate their interest, they can have it and they will still have their priority.
All right, sir. Thank you for your time, Ms. Yang. Thank you for your time seeing you today.
Thank you, Joseph. Yusek Roque, please.
Yes, Secretary, question from Julius Babaw of ABS-CBN. Ano daw po ang proseso na dadaanan ng mga magpapabakuna, step-by-step na process, like step 1, registration, etc.?
Well, na-illustrate na po namin yan napakadaming beses, no? Pero siguro po napaka-awkward naman sa sagutin ngayon yan, no? Meron pong registration, meron pong briefing kasi kinakailangan explain sa kanila kung ano yung EUA, ano yung possible side effect. Tapos po papabakunahan sila, tapos hindi po sila papauwiin kaagad, magkakaroon po ng observation time para malaman kung merong adverse reaction yung gamot bago po sila pauuwiin. At bibigyan po sila nung parang tinatawag na passport kung saan patunay po yan at sila ay nabakunahan na.
Opo, second question po ni Julius Babaw ng ABS-CBN. Pa-emphasize lang daw po ulit, libre ba na ibibigay ang bakuna?
Libre po ito, walang bayad. Kung meron pong maniningin, paalam nyo po sa amin, paarestuhin po natin yan for estafa.
Opo. Question from John Punsalan of ABS-CBN Online. Former Vice President Binay said the Labor Department's offer of deploying more Filipino nurses to the UK and Germany is in exchange for vaccine is insensitive and dehumanizing. Did President Duterte give his blessing for this offer? How would you like to respond to ex-VP Binay's comment?
Lahat naman po ng opinyon ng ating mga kababayan, respeto natin dahil meron po tayong kalayaan ng malayang pananalita sa Pilipinas. Pero hindi po ito ideya ng Presidente, ideya po ito ni Secretary Bello at Secretary Locsin na wini-welcome din natin because more is better than less.
Thank you, Secretary.
Thank you. Tricia Tirada, please.
Hi, good afternoon, Spokes, and good afternoon to Miss Helen Yang. Sir, before I go to you, may I please have my first few questions for Miss Helen Yang.
Go ahead. That's why we invited Miss Helen Yang. Go ahead, please.
Hi, good afternoon, Miss Yang. Ma'am, in the 12 countries where Sinovac is being used, how would you assess its effect so far? Because, for example, in Israel, there are reports that the Pfizer's vaccine was seen to reduce transmission. Do you see something of this effect also in terms of the use of Sinovac in the 12 countries?
Right. Thanks for the question. Actually, you can see those countries are at the beginning when we start to ship the vaccine. Those countries having a fairly large population. If you want to see the results or consequence similar to Israel, it needs to have the country to use the vaccination covering pretty much of their population, which we are not able to get it done in this way because the country are so large. But we do expect in the coming months that we can see the similar effects, and that's part of our observation as well.
Ma'am, if I'm not mistaken, Sinovac has been used in China since July, right? But would you have any information right now about the length of its effectivity?
For the vaccine used in China, in June, we were approved to provide the vaccine under emergency use. So there are only a few types of population can use the vaccine. And currently the data of using the vaccine were collected by the Chinese government. So we do not have direct information or source for the results. And if they find anything, they will come to us. If they don't come to us, that means the vaccine is good.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Thanks.
Spokes, I have a few questions
Go ahead,
for you.
please.
Sir, you mentioned na yun nga po gusto ni Pangulo na salubungin mismo yung pagdating ng bakuna because he wants to show this value of utang na loob. But sir, we're interested to know how far this utang na loob can go. Parang in what way can this be expressed? Hindi po kaya maapektuhan, sir, yung position natin with other issues with China?
Ikaw naman, Trish, ano bang, ang akin lang, kailangan magpasalamat. Nakita nyo naman, ginawa natin ang lahat para makuha yung gusto ng nakakarami, lalo na yung gustong brand ng mga oposisyon. Pero talagang sa huli, kapag nagkaroon na ng kagipitan, mga kaibigan lang talaga natin maasahan na magbigay ng kinakailangan natin. So hanggang doon lang po yun, wala naman pong epekto yan sa ibang mga issue na meron tayo sa ating bilateral relations sa China. Nagpapasalamat lang po ang Presidente dahil sa panahon ng pagsubok, China na naman ang nag-deliver. Nung panahon po kasi ng Maguindanao, nung Marawi, China rin po ang nagbigay ng mga baril na kinakailangan niya. Nung mga pagkakataon na pinagkait siya ng mga Amerikano nung baril. No? So sa pangalawang pagkakataon, na nangangailangan tayo ng bakuna, ang unang nagbigay po sa atin, China. Hindi po masama na ipakita ang ating utang na loob. Ang Pilipino po, sabihin nyo lang gusto nyo sabihin, hindi po tayo ingrato.
Hindi po kaya, sir, malubog tayo sa utang na loob sa China?
Hindi po. Hindi naman ganun po ang Pilipino. Pilipina ka rin. Alam mo naman kung saan tayo pupunta. Paglalaban natin ang dapat ipaglaban, pero hindi tayo maging ingrato.
Sir, on another topic, nabanggit po ng DILG that they're mulling the scrapping of travel authority and health certificates for travelers. Is this something that's been discussed with the IATF, and is this happening soon?
This is an operational detail. We leave it to them. We have laid out the policy po.
Sir, last night, nabanggit po ni Pangulo yung pagkikidnap or yung involvement ng NPA sa human trafficking. Can you have more information about this? And is this ongoing still?
Ito po kasi yung pagre-recruit ng mga NPA sa mga kabataan. Yung mga below 18. At alam niyo po naman talaga, matagal na ako sa larangan ng IHL, notorious po talaga ang NPA dahil kinukuha nila ang mga bata para maging mandirigma. At sang-ayon po sa naging desisyon ng isang international tribunal, pati po yung pagpipilit sa mga bata magbitbit ng mga supplies, yan po ay classified na rin as recruitment of children as combatants. So yung pagkuha po nila, pag-recruit ng mga bata talaga below 18 para sumapi sa kanila is not only prohibited as a war crime, a serious breach of our additional protocol 2 of the Geneva Conventions, but also tantamount to illegal detention and human trafficking.
All right. Thank you very much, Spokes.
Thank you very
Thank
much,
you, Secretary.
Trish. Yusek, Rocky, please.
Yes, Secretary, yung unang tanong ni Tuesday New ng DCBB ay kapareho rin po ng tanong ni Maricel Halili ng TV5. Is it true that President Duterte already talked to the representative of Sinopharm as claimed by Montulfo? What was the discussion all about? Is Montulfo still our special envoy to China?
Well, I have to check, no, because the special envoys are appointed on a 6-month basis. Hindi ko po alam kung na-renew si Montulfo. Now, whether or not he has talked to a representative, hindi ko po alam. If I will admit, I was in this adjacent room when Montulfo was there, but I could not really hear what they were discussing. No? Pero sa akin, I don't understand the big deal about the Montulfo write-up. That's an account of Montulfo, and if you want verification, please contact Montulfo because I cannot answer on his behalf.
Opo, second question ni Maricel Halili, did you find Montulfo's claim alarming considering that this is not the first time Sinopharm was used without EUA? Even PSG members were inoculated without EUA. Isn't this dangerous?
Ay, wala po akong reaksyon dyan dahil sa panahon ng pandemya, naintindihan ko po na talagang maraming gusto talaga magkaroon ng proteksyon. Pero ang sinasabi natin sa lahat, antayin po natin na dumaan sa proseso for our own interest.
Thank you, Secretary.
Thank you. Punta tayo kay Pia Ronada, please.
Hello, sir.
Yes, go ahead.
Hi, good afternoon. Yes, sir. Sir, does Malacanang think there is conflict of interest in Montulfo's application to be a local distributor of Sinopharm, considering that he is or used to be a special envoy to China?
We have no opinion whatsoever. We leave that to the Ombudsman.
Sir, doesn't Malacanang have an opinion because he is appointed by Malacanang and he is, kumbaga, doing certain, he may be acting in the name of Malacanang. So is this not something that Malacanang should in fact comment on?
We still have no opinion because, as I said, I do not know if he has been reappointed as special envoy. These appointments are renewed every 6 months.
And sir, why is the president dealing directly with the Sinopharm reps? Is he aware that vaccines can't just enter the Philippines without FDA approvals?
He did not deal directly with Sinopharm, as in fact, we still cannot import Sinovac on a commercial basis, not even commercial, on a large-scale basis beyond the compassionate use license issued by the FDA.
Sir, are you belying the claims of Montulfo? Because he himself said that the president spoke with a certain John Boha, who is the local rep of Sinopharm.
I'm
Are
not
you saying this is not true?
I'm not belying anything that Montulfo said. All I'm saying is that's his article. Please ask him, not me.
Sir, how about, sir, yung just more details on the president's awareness of these protocols and approvals? Because it seems to me, does Malacanang think that what happened, these parang PSG getting vaccinated with Sinopharm, etc., the president blocking the PSG from testifying about it or speaking about it, does this not undermine the entire government's vaccination program, given that there are approval regulatory process that seemingly not being followed by the highest office in the land?
Again, that's your conclusion, but I don't think it undermines anything. If at all, lahat tayo eksperto na ngayon sa proseso sa FDA. And I think that's one good thing that came out of this pandemic. At least alam na natin kung ano ang tamang proseso na sinusunod ng FDA. At alam natin kung bakit kapag nagdesisyon ang FDA pagdating sa safety at efficacy ng bakuna, respetuhin natin yan dahil yan ay opinyon ng tunay na mga dalubhasa sa larangan na yan. No audio. Next question, please.
Secretary,
Yes.
question from Adreo Calonzo ng Bloomberg regarding
Yes.
po dun sa DOLE sa plan to ask vaccines from the UK and Germany in exchange for sending more Filipino nurses there. Are there more plans to trade Filipino workers for vaccine donations?
Well, hindi ko po alam. That's up to both the DFA and the DOLE. Please ask them.
Opo.
As far as
From
the
Jerome
president is
Morales
concerned,
and Reuters,
we have ordered
DOLE
more than
open-
enough.
From Jerome Morales of Reuters, regarding pa rin po dyan, ang tanong po niya ay, was the president consulted on this offer by DOLE with UK rejecting the offer? will we offer the nurses for vaccines deal to other countries?
President was not informed of this proposal, as far as I know.
Thank you, Secretary.
Okay, punta naman tayo ngayon kay Melo Acuña, please.
Yeah, good afternoon, Mr. Secretary. Good afternoon. I hope you're well. I just have one short question for you and two questions for Ms. Yang. My first question is, what's the update on the Dutch national's status, Otto de Vries, whose residency status has been cancelled and will be sent home to his country, the Netherlands?
If you are referring to Dutchman Otto Rudolf de Vries, or however you pronounce it,
Yes.
he has been deported. And he was deported for joining rallies, which according to our immigration laws is prohibited. And he was deported because by joining a rally, he has proven himself to be an undesirable alien.
Okay, thank you very much.
He can still rally in the Netherlands.
Good afternoon. I hope the weather is fine in Hong Kong. How many vaccines has your company produced so far, and will you be able to meet the international demand, Ms. Yang?
Sure, thanks. Actually, we started production around August and September last year. And until now, we have already produced over 100 million doses. And that supports both China demand as well as the other country, as I mentioned earlier.
Okay. Have you considered putting up plans to produce the vaccine outside of China? Because Russia said they would like to be in the Philippines too. So would your company think of that approach as well?
I think that actually relates to our long-term development strategy. We do expect to fund the external plant to produce, or even laboratories. Similar models we started, which is much easier and more effective, is that we work with Brazil and Turkey and Indonesia, that we ship them ready to fill box. They can do the local filling, packaging, and testing of the vaccine. And that will shorten the time for delivery. But I think going for long term, we do expect to be a more internationalized company, to have the foreign site.
If this is not classified, how much of your company's resources has been devoted to research and development?
Overall, in the past years, we normally will spend around 10 to 15% of our turnover into the research and development.
I see. But is it classified to mention the gross amount where you take the 10 to 15% of your gross for research and development?
Yeah, we are actually a traded company. I remember that in the 2019, our total turnover is $230 million, and around 10% of that will be invested into, that will be over $20 million invested into the R&D.
I see. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. All the best.
You too.
Thank you, Secretary Hari.
Thank you very much, Melo. Back to you, Sec Roque, please.
Yes, Secretary, yung susunod pong tanong ay mula kay Tuesday New, pero yung unang tanong po niya ay nasagot niyo na. Ang follow-up lang po niya ay kung sabi daw po ni Montulfo, wala siyang nakikitang liability sa kanyang part kahit nagpabakuna na siya ng walang approval ng FDA dahil hindi naman daw po siya opisyal ng gobyerno.
Well, that's his opinion nga po, no? So, hindi po ako tagapagsalita ng aking kaibigan na si Montulfo. So, lahat po ng question nyo kay Montulfo, pakidirect po kay Montulfo. I can only speak for the President po.
Opo, question from Kylie Atienza ng Business World. Will the national government come up with ways to further reopen the economy or more industries in areas under General Community Quarantine or GCQ? At kung ano daw pong industries, if ever. Kasama po ba ito sa plano ng ating economic managers after the President thumbed down their request?
Ang hindi po inapruba ng Presidente, yung proposal na buong Pilipinas ay mag-MGCQ. So balik po tayo dun sa dating proseso na titignan natin on a region level, on a province basis, kung po pwede na mag-MGCQ yung iba't ibang lugar sa Pilipinas. Bago pa man po magdesisyon ang Presidente na ayaw niyang buong Pilipinas MGCQ, mabibilang mo naman sa isang kamay kung ilan yung mga lugar na naka-GCQ pa eh. So wala pong problema yan. Patuloy lang po tayo ng dating proseso na natin. At bukas po magpupulong ang IATF para po pinal no, yung classification para sa susunod na buwan. Sa Biyernes po ata ang pagpupulong ng IATF.
Second question niya, our economic planners recommended the further reopening of the economy to curb hunger and joblessness. With the president's latest decision, will the national government find ways to help local governments cope with the economic impacts of the prolonged lockdown? What are these?
Well, isa na po dyan yung hinihinging karagdagang pondo ni Dole para po dun sa mga emergency cash for work, no? Kasi talagang habang hindi pa po tayo tuluyang magbubukas, marami pa rin na kinakailangan maski man lang po ng temporary work, no? At syempre, paintingin pa natin yung mga pag-uutang natin, patuloy rin po natin pinapatupad ang ating Bayanihan 2 at patuloy po natin pinatutupad ang ating national budget. Mas papaintingin pa natin ang absorptive capacity ng ating mga iba't ibang ahensya para po ma-realize yung fiscal stimulus na provided natin sa Bayanihan 2 at saka sa national budget for 2021.
Okay, question from Ace Romero for Secretary Roque. May we get a statement on the EDSA anniversary rights? Will the President participate? Kapareho lang po sila ng question ni Joe Montemayor of Malaya. Will PRRD address the EDSA commemoration and statement on the EDSA anniversary?
Meron naman pong magiging statement ang ating presidente sa EDSA dahil yan naman po by law is made into a public holiday, no? At antayin na lang po natin yung official statement po ng ating presidente.
Opo, question from Tina Mendez of Philippine Star. Can we please ask if there is an update on the executive order institutionalizing National Employment Recovery Strategy Task Force? When will the President sign this?
Wala pa po, no? I will release the necessary information in due course.
Opo, question from, clarify lang daw po or dagdag information. Sabi ni Dreo Calonso, exact position of Ms. Helen Yang sa Sinovac. And how do you pronounce daw po? Is it Sinovac, Sinovac?
Ma'am.
Tanong po ni Raymond Tenasa.
Yes, once and for all, ma'am, Ms. Helen Yang, what is your official designation with Sinovac and how do you pronounce it? Is it Sinovac or Sinovac? Also for my purpose, no?
Sure, it's Sinovac.
Sinovac. Okay, Sinovac. Okay, and what is your official designation, Ms. Yang?
I'm the general manager of Sinovac Hong Kong.
Yes, Miss. And is it a Miss or Mrs.? Because my director Ting is asking.
I can share privately.
Okay. Director Ting, you have permission to contact her privately. Okay, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Opo, Secretary, wait lang po. Mukhang may nagpapahabol po ng tanong. Sandali lang po kasi may habol na question. I think question po mula kay Ace Romero. Clarification daw po, beyond issuing a statement, will there be other forms of participation on the part of the President for the EDSA anniversary?
I have not been informed of any participation as of yet. So I do not know this information, but I can assure you there will be a statement, no?
Okay. Thank you, Secretary.
Yes, are there further questions?
No more, Secretary. Thank you.
Well, okay, since there are no more questions, yes, we have we just have one information coming in. Ito po, no? Okay. I mean, let's I think it's important that the nation hear. Okay, well anyway, we'll probably do it tomorrow, no? But so since there are no more questions, ma'am, thank you very much. Ms. Helen Yang of Sinovac Biotech, the general manager, Ms. Helen Yang, and of course, Director Ting will be awaiting your information. And thank you very much, Yusek Roque. Thank you very much to the ladies and gentlemen of the Malacanang Press Corps. On behalf of the President, Ms. Helen Yang, I'd like to express the gratitude of the President not only to Sinovac but to the government of the People's Republic of China for once more coming to our assistance in our time of dire need. Thank you very much, and the Filipino people, are a people that will never forget assistance given when we needed it the most. So sa ngalan po na ating Presidente Rodrigo Roa Duterte, Pilipinas, hayan po, parating na talaga ang bakuna. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat.